Hey everyone, thank you for coming to my YouTube channel. I am back after a long break. Things got in the way of my crafting, but when I finally came back to my craft table, this is what I found on it. So, these are two upcoming journals that I have. I am not going to do a flip through today because I want to add a few more finishing touches to these. This is first one and that's second. This incidentally also happens to be my first junk journal without sewing on the pages, and the reason is that when I made this one, I was building a stash of ephemera for this journal, and then by the time the stash was nearly done, or as I was building the stash, I realized there is no way this journal is going to hold all of that. It is already pretty thick with pages, and this has a lot of sewing and interests on the pages. So then this came about, which will now the ephemera will be split between these two journals. Hang on, I'll just be back. Okay, so this originally was meant to be my design team project for Bob and Betty India. They come up with beautiful paper packs, paper stacks, loose paper packs, and then they have this amazing thing called deco patch papers. My understanding is they are a lot like rice papers for decoupage, and I in my on my channel I have a video where I go through my design team kit, and in that I have gone through all their decoupage papers. The collection I've used for this one is Roseate, and Roseate is a stunning collection. And when I saw it, like when I saw the florals in it, I don't know how I immediately made a connection between the collection and my one of my favorite pieces of literature, Wuthering Heights. To me, it just felt like this kind of beauty can only belong in tragedy. So that's where I'm headed with this. And what I'm going to do today is, since I've built this rather big stash of ephemera, I wanted to take you guys through the ephemera today, and so that when I'm going through the journal, it's not rushed, and we can take our time. Okay, first, let me show you these first. These are book page pockets. So the book pages are not all Wuthering Heights. They are a random assortment. I think there are botanicals, and then there's I think Charlotte Bronte, one of them, yeah. So these, oops, I'm sorry, these 6 envelopes or book page pockets have been inspired by Treasure Books, and she is the one with all the cool tutorials. And this I watched a long time ago, and what I've done is, so it's all doubled up, the papers are doubled up, the back and then the front, and then there's sewing all along and distressing. Yep, this is Jane Eyre, Charlotte Bronte, and that's the pocket, and there is the deco patch paper that I've used from the Roseate collection, and these are Tim Holtz snippets. So the idea behind these is that you can leave them floating in the book, or you can attach them and make pockets or double pockets. So that's 1 and 2. Yep, I've tried to pick snippets that I felt went with the theme the best. I also have used a number of quotes from the book. Those will come up. This is also Roseate papers. So is this. Aren't these papers breathtaking? Amazing, right? Yep, and another snippet. pretty spacious, I would say. Yep. This one. So that is 6 of these. I'm gonna set that aside. And the next bunch of things, okay, let me show you these book page envelopes that I built. What I did here was I'm not sure, I had picked up something from a store, like a shop, and they had packed it in a sachet, in a paper sachet. Well, I came home and I deconstructed the sachet, like opened it up and used that as a template to build these. They're these pretty spacious, biggish pockets, envelopes. You can save journaling cards in them. You can use them for Happy Mail if you are not using them in the journal. So that's one. And of course, so yeah, the quotes from the novel, the book. This is one. So there's some vintage music paper. This yeah, I think this paper came to me in a journal kit that I bought from Ellie, Elsie Bell's bookshelf. Sorry, Ellie. So is this paper, and then that's Roseate again, and a quote from the book, and then that's the that's the pocket. Pretty spacious and sturdy. I have doubled it up here just to make sure it can hold. And then that is another of those envelopes. Sorry to whisked it away. I'm at a slightly weird angle, not very, I'm quite comfortable, but it's a little weird. And then there's this, the papers, the book pages are from this encyclopedia of the Horticultural Society. It's this biggish book with glossy pages with pictures of flowers, and then a glossary that has these matte vintagey looking papers. Love it. It's so big and there's so much to work with. All right, and guest checks, of course. We have altered guest checks. These elements are all from the paper pack. These feathers were fussy cut out, and then I have backed it up with some, I hope you're getting the details, some handmade paper, marble paper, and then sari silk from a sari silk trim. Yep. And that is another one, again a feather again, and these have all been dyed. These were dyed using alcohol inks, I think, a tint of greenish yellow, and that's another feather. These are the altered guest checks, and then the index cards. I'll show you these first. Some detailing here with a piece of cardstock from the paper pack. Then there is some jute linen fabric, and some sari silk, and a bit of vine trim, and then some, what's this, eyelet lace, eyelet trim, and then this comes out. Same thing with this one, and then this comes out, and of course sewing all around. These are slightly different. They don't have sewing all around, but they have elements from the paper pack and vintage paper, fabric, trims, etc. Distressed edges. More. These flowers are all from the paper pack. They're all from the paper pack. This is some fabric that I've used. Fabric with yarn tassels. More of these. And that's for the index cards. Then we have glassine bags. These beautiful glassine bags, which were coffee dyed, and I have gone over them with first with Tim Holtz tissue paper, tissue wrap, and then with this is another kind of decoupage paper from Bob and Betty, and this is also roseate. So I had roseate in three kind of things. One was the decoupage paper, the other was the rice paper, and then there was the paper pack. So this is the decoupage paper, and then that's a quote from the book, and some book page, and then some brown paper, just a collage. I've been watching, when I was working on these, I remember I was watching Roxy Creations by Rachel. I think I was binging on her videos. So, I mean, I'm not sure if this is anywhere near how good she is, but she definitely inspired my work at this time. I, I don't think I was that into collage earlier. It was more of sewing for me, and now in this project I've used collaging a lot, and it's fun. I mean, very relaxing to tear up paper and just glue. Okay, those are the glassine bags. I'm gonna stop right here, and for these I'm gonna come back for a part 2. Thanks guys, see you right back.